go ahead and get started, call the meeting to order. I hope that Nick makes it. I have just a few items on old business to go over. The status on the water meter reader. Where are you at on that device? Did they come to your training?
He's coming tomorrow.
Okay.
And we're going to do the billing, the first round of billing and everything tomorrow.
Okay.
So.
Ben coming? Or
Scott is. Yeah, utility. Scott is. So they had to go through and I had to send them files and stuff to make sure everything was good to go. And so he'll be here tomorrow.
Good. I did notice that over at the park when I went to turn the water back on, the reader's not connected, the sending unit.
And you know, I ought to be reading that one too.
Yes, we should. So we need to let Jason know to make sure he gets that one connected. It's got the meter in it, and it's got the sending unit on top. It's just the wire between them is not connected.
I guess I've never had that number now that you say that.
I was going to try to get an update on our properties that need some attention, so maybe when they come in.
I know they mowed on North Main yesterday.
Okay.
In the backyard, so I'm assuming they took care of the front yard.
Yeah.
That's
And
back there.
they mowed over here Thursday or Friday last week. So hopefully they'll stay up on that. Do you have any paperwork on the building permits, the applications, what we're going to be using? Okay. I'm assuming that our attorney is going to supply that, or is that something that we need to be looking at?
I would think maybe we would. I don't know. Maybe I need to see what Rockville's using for it.
I think we need to start on that. I know on South Center Street there is some remodeling on a house in the second block.
Yes, yes.
And you know, it was asked to me, not of that person, but of another person about the permits, and I said we don't have the paperwork yet for a person to apply.
Which I didn't know he was building on to it or anything. I just
I think
the water up, and he asked me how to hook up, get whole electricity.
Yeah.
So, but then I saw some rafters or something sitting there when I went on the block, and I meant to go double check it, and I forgot. But I'll check with Brandy and see what she has.
Right.
And
yeah, we may be able to change that and adapt that.
Right.
Form. So, does anyone have any other old business to talk about? Under new business, I am waiting for a quote on the town office building to install vents in each gable to try to rectify a humidity problem over there. Also, I've asked for the quote to include siding on the front gable of that building. It's still a painted gable. The south end is not. It's a vinyl product. And also then wrap all of the soffits and the fascia so we don't have to touch the paintbrush to that at all.
Get this lettering off the front of the weather.
Yes, that would be good. So I'm hoping to get that. At the same time, I asked, it was Jeff Cox that I have asked to take a look at that, and he's putting together that quote, for him to look at the arch, those couple of places on the arch. Yes, and so he's going to do that also. And so I'll bring that quotes to the board when we get those to proceed.
Is that a piece of weather stripping, or is that a piece of wood?
Looks like it's a piece of wood is what it looks like. It looks
really cold
like
up.
a trim wood.
It's a trim board, but actually it sets back in against the framing, and then those vertical pieces that hold the letters, they set down on top of it. And so that has gotten enough moisture, it's just curled out of there. Yeah, it really is. It's about the time of year we talk about whether or not we're going to try to do some street repair, and I thought I would bring that up this evening to find out, do you have any areas that you know of that we need to address?
spots and probably will need something by next year, but I don't think there's nothing to do now.
The only thing I can think of is we need to do crack sealing on the North Main Street. That paving where the two layers came together, it would probably be worthwhile to try to get a quote on getting that done.
Sealed.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good, especially since that's new concrete. I mean, new asphalt.
Asphalt,
New,
yes.
it's not been,
So I will try to find somebody that will do that. I had asked for one from Bi-State from before and did not receive one, so I don't know if there's anyone else that you guys know of or hear about. Let me know and I'll give them a call.
okay.
I've met with Kathy and Karen Sutler to discuss some improvements that the Marshall Forever Fund would like to do at the Arch. I'd like to change that flower planting area up a little bit and possibly put some kind of stone benches or stone, stacked stone in there. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I can show you a picture that I showed the committee here a week ago, and you can tell me whether you like it or not, and then we can go from there.
Permanent fixture.
It would be permanent, yeah. What we discussed was the big tumbled blocks. They're not really pavers, they're thicker than pavers. And you actually just stack them like you would as a kid with blocks, and they glue one to the other, and they're pretty stable. So,
And then you were going to go ahead and put like the pergola up on top for the shading.
that is that we talked about. Karen got a hold of me today and said a couple of them wanted to make sure that wasn't going to interfere with the look of the arch. And so I wanted to bring it up here.
Is it going to set back a little bit from the arch? I mean, it's not going to be right.
It would
I mean,
be,
because you have the sidewalk.
You're right beside the sidewalk.
You're
Yeah.
right beside the sidewalk.
right, it would be in line with the arch if you were looking straight down. And like I said, I can show you the pictures I had taken and shown.
Approximately the same width of the base.
Yes. It would include a built-in bench area within that stone structure, and then off to the south end of each would be some kind of planters, but there would also be planters up behind the seating area.
This could be built or just pots?
Pots is what we've looked at, those long-term watering, like we have the big gray ones.
Self-watering.
Self-watering pots, yes.
Because that's what I was wondering, because then
Yeah.
I know otherwise you'd have to get, there's a system that you can kind of use to get it, so it's, you can put like on a timer or something. So we're going to get permanent water right there?
That has been discussed a little bit. It would be nice to go ahead and have Ronnie tap in and put a hydrant on each side in that area that could be used to water. It is a problem when you have to pull the fire truck out to fill those ponds.
Right.
Have you filled those this year yet?
Yeah.
Have you filled those this year yet?
I have not filled them at all.
I mean, we've had plenty of rain, but
Yeah, no, they have not been filled. And I need to get Jason putting the bags around the trees for watering, and then he'll take care of watering the pods through this summer.
Right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the trees all survived and are looking wonderful. The last thing that I have, and I sent you this in an email, it had to do with this study. And I sent it to your email address, Sharon. Did you get that? And that was something that came out of our past meeting, which was a week ago. The executive session, the discussion about whether or not we pursue any land, anything along that line. What we have here is a proposal to do a study for a wastewater collection system, wastewater treatment plant for the town of Marshall. The services would be, it would take about 90 days to do the study. There's 3 different levels within the scope of that study that they will be looking at to see whether or not it's a good possibility. And I can tell you right now, one of them is Marshall would do a standalone wastewater treatment system. The second one that they're going to look at is whether or not it would be possible to use Turkey Run's wastewater treatment plant and pump that direction. Or the third one would be to build a large treatment plant that would include treating the waste from Turkey Run State Park, the town of Marshall, and the elementary middle school out here. So those were the three things that they were going to look at. They would look at cost within that study. So what I wanted to do was to offer a chance for discussion on that. The cost of that project for that study is eligible to be paid out of the American Rescue Plan, which is a COVID stimulus dollars. I believe the town of Marshall is to receive $70,000 for that fund, which is, I think, typical for the other communities. Rockville is higher, but I know Bloomingdale, I believe, was the same amount. And we can use a portion of that money to pay for this study. So questions, I know since you had a chance to look at that, it's pretty well self-explanatory.
It was pretty well. I mean,
How much land are we talking about?
You know,
It's a standalone.
the question was asked about that, and
he
a
said,
maximum of 2 acres.
yeah, 1 to 2 acres. Basically, the plant would take 1 acre, and you needed the other acre for them to be able to access and actually work, do the construction, to put it together. That'd just be for us only, standalone.
The standalone plants, they used to call them package plants. From talking to the engineering service, those plants would come in on a semi and be set on concrete pads, and electricity and water would be hooked up, and then you turn the plant on. You probably know a lot more about it than I do, but that's in a basic description of that. And so a small plant like that, it would just be sized to treat the waste of Marshall. So the cost of the plant would be tremendously lower than what we've looked at with a plant, a plant that we would treat all the sewage from Turkey Run and the school, et cetera.
Those would be that big, a lot smaller number to deal with.
Yes. It is my belief from listening to them that the rate would be, there would be some advantage to the rate of doing a standalone. And there would be far less operation and maintenance costs with that.
Unless you have to clean up, less cleanup is necessary.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And they said, though, if we went with the bigger one, we'd be looking at 3 to 5 acres,
Okay.
is what they were saying with the other. If we went with the package plant, 2 acres, the one was for the plant, the other would be just to work, 3 to 5, roughly.
Is any of that percolation, or is it all?
It's all mechanical treatment.
Probably aerated.
Feel free to jump into this.
The sewage goes in, and you know, you got a couple of big air blowers to get the bugs activated, and then you trim off the good water, and have to have, you know, somewhere, some creek or something to discharge to.
We talked about that and how much flow we would need in a stream to discharge, and the engineer that does the wastewater treatment side for Wessler that was here, he said that water comes out so clean you could pretty well theoretically dump it into a ditch.
And it goes to a stream.
Yeah. And so the creeks north and south of here, any of those would be fine for that kind of a plan.
Is it just the study that's eligible
It's
for
a,
funding by the?
what the study is to look at those three options that I mentioned, and then apply costs to each of those. Of course, each one of them carries its own set of what-ifs, but if you're only treating sewage from the town of Marshall, and we're pumping, say, 20,000 gallons of water a day, compared to what Turkey Run State Park and the school and Marshall all together is pumping right now, there's a tremendous difference in cost and the amount of land and what the outflow of that would be. So the purpose of the study was to see and give us some guidance on what's our best option if we were to ever be able to fund something of this size. So what I was bringing this to the board tonight to see if, I guess first of all, are you comfortable with this? And since we have funding that's going to pay for it, I did check that COVID money can be used for both wastewater treatment and drinking water. That's one of those highlights of that, where that money can be used. And so this planning would be eligible. So it would not come out of our general fund. It would come out of that money as it comes in.
And if we don't use all that 7,000 just on this wastewater project, whatever's left, we could end up and maybe do something with it, with the water, like if we needed any meters or anything there that we've seen.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Or the storm drains that we know that are bad, if we could see cost of it. Maybe start looking at some of those.
I think the money, since it's such a small percentage of that money for the study, the remainder of that money could be used for funding.
If we go funding to finish up for the project.
If there was a
If
project.
it finds out that it's feasible, yeah.
Yeah.
They keep changing every day what you can and can't do with that money, so it's.
I know.
I was getting ready to
Let
ask
it up
if
a little
they've
bit
given
more.
guidance on that yet.
Yeah.
They definitively, and I was looking for that before I came over. There was an email that definitively said you can use it for wastewater treatment, you can use it for drinking water. Those were two areas that they were
You
definitive.
can use it for the actual project if you
Yes.
decided to.
So it's an opportunity for us to continue that discussion and to do it with numbers that we can really take a bite of and look at and see if we want to go that route. So it's open for discussion. It's open for, if you want to make a motion, we can go ahead with this, and I have the paperwork to sign, but it's something we need to feel comfortable with.
I think if we're talking serious about this problem, we don't have any choice but to let them tell us where we stand and what options we do have. That cut and dry to me.
Well, and it's a comfort knowing that they're looking at 3 different options for us. That way, if the park does come back, because right now it's questionable what the park's going to allow us to really do or offer. So with this, at least we have more of an idea of what kind of money, which option. So if the park said no, we wouldn't. Plus, we have some money that wouldn't be coming out of our general fund. The only thing is, on the property, that's going to be the question, what we're going to be able to do to be able to get the acreage.
Yeah. And I think there's some options, knowing that we're looking at 1 acre to 2 acres. The guy said the plant wouldn't be any bigger than this room right here. That,
You're right.
I mean, it's just a small, it comes in on a semi and they set a couple of those down and go.
You dig a little hole and put the tank in the ground and you're good.
How big is the tank?
I don't know.
And what will that be? Will that flush away with the drainage? Will there be a sludge, a byproduct?
Yeah, you have this much to take care of.
Okay, now where's it go?
Well, you've got some options. You can either land apply it if you get the, permit for it, or what some small utilities do, they pull it down to a bigger system like Terre Haute and dump it in their system, and they basically take it and
Just farm it up?
farm it out.
Okay.
And how often?
It all depends on how big the system is and
Okay,
how much influence you've got. You're probably looking at least twice a year normally.
okay. I'm sorry? I think, as you kind of mentioned, Larry, if we're serious, let's get as much on the table as we can before we make a decision and begin really seriously looking at that.
I agree.
I do too.
So we need to make a motion.
Please.
I make a motion that we move forward with getting the project for quotes and options for the wastewater.
Okay. And
Second to the motion.
just to clarify, that is for the treatment study, wastewater treatment study?
Yes.
With Wessler Engineering? Okay. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, yes, Elliot?
Excuse me?
Okay, yes, Elliot? Westland.
Oh,
Yeah.
WESS, yeah.
It's the
Okay.
thing.
We'll go ahead and sign that. I do not have anything else out of new business. Does the board have anything they want to add before we work on claims?
I'd like a way to end up and sweep off these sidewalks.
I know.
Jeff was saying, because I asked him something about Rockwell rented out their street sweeper, the street sweeper.
Uh-huh.
He said they ended up and they got a big kind of a backpack blower or something
Right.
instead, and they use it, and that way they blow the snow and stuff with. I wonder what something like that would cost.
You're going to have to do it.
Steel makes those big
Big.
ones.
I don't need to end up and come up to see.
You're just talking about the grass and things that accumulate
Yeah.
there.
Grass, there's a lot of gravel.
Gravel, yeah.
It's just, we got nice sidewalks,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just sad to see them, nobody.
But yeah, but I mean, we don't have anybody that would be a full-time, or I mean, if Jason is off on a Monday and does on Monday, and then mow on a Wednesday or Thursday, then
You're
I
not
don't
going to
think you
do
want
it
to
every
do
day, but you could end up and at least try to
Yeah.
hit it. I mean,
It's the accumulation of that stone and stuff that's hard to deal with, yeah. Let me check on a price, unless you already know.
I don't know of any, I don't even know what size, I don't know. Because I noticed the new sidewalk down there by where that house had burned, and they've got it tore down, it's already all cracked.
well, they probably had all the heavy equipment going across it.
That's what I'm wondering.
Well, anybody's driving in and out of their driveways or
Well, it's
across.
Let's
not
say,
even the driveway, it's the tow yard.
This is cracked up here with somebody's cutting the corner short.
That's a question that we need to approach Nick with and see if the claim could be put in for that insurance company that covered that house to replace that
The
sidewalk.
sidewalk.
Yes.
Because like I said, if it was just the driveway, I'd understand. It's not, the driveway is not, they just went right across.
Yeah, they had some big equipment going through there.
Yeah.
I don't remember a driveway ever being there.
There's a driveway right there.
There's a driveway that was on the
On
south
the
side of the
south
house.
side.
Yeah,
Is that Elmer's old driveway?
probably.
Okay, that is an established driveway.
Yeah, probably was.
I don't know if it makes any difference.
you notice your semi was gone?
I did, I was, the semi was gone. The trailer's still there though.
Well, don't push your luck. I mean, it took long enough to get the truck there, the semi gone, it's like.
I know, and then I noticed that tree was there, and I'm like, hey, there's a tree planted.
I told Todd he needs to go take the thing up there and clip that so it doesn't grow up.
Those mulberries, and everybody have mulberries.
Okay, I'll try to get a hold of Nick on that and see about whether or not a claim can be pursued for that. Anything else under new business? Okay, Kathy, do you have claims for us?
Oh, did you go to the eye doctor today? Oh. I think I have 2 left to pay them. 2 or 3. I told Jeff the other day, I said, they're little by little. He said, that's fine. Or, Ronnie.
Okay.
Got the real big one I haven't paid yet. Because I paid utilities
This
like.
all all right. I can't see this.
Do we need a point where to sign?
The
I think it's right over here.
Yeah, but a little money.
$2,189.09 was the total claims for the
We
town.
didn't have much.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't gotten a bill for the mowing for the month yet. Of course, with being just the first, I was expecting it Friday, but I didn't get it. So I guess that's really about the only thing.
You'll get it.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll have 2 next month.
Kathy, the planners look nice.
Thanks.
The flowers look good in there.
I forced myself to do those. It wasn't a pretty sight.
They do look good.
I like the touchy yellow this year, a little different.
Here are my adjustments for the last 2 months on water count that I had to make, so just initial those. Oh, did you write those amounts down so you can see them?
I did walk, I still got it. Yeah, thanks.
Will we be having more meetings with that engineer?
Yeah, we will definitely have more.
I'm sorry, I missed that meeting.
I understand, yeah. There's a lot of good discussion there. Yeah.
Anytime they mess with your eyes, it just wears you out, though.
Wow.
I said anytime they do anything with your eyes, it just wipes you out.
I can see
So that new customer is for the house that they're
Yes,
remodeling.
yes.
And I still don't know what they're gonna do with it.
He told me, right, I think he's gonna rent it, because he said right now he wants it in his name, and he said once we rent it, then he said we'll discuss that when that time comes.
Okay.
So I took it, that's what he's looking at down the road, but he wanted the water.
That was one of the options that he was going to do, or use it for an office, he said.
So, yeah, yeah,
And when I couldn't get glasses.
so we have it in his name right now.
Yeah. Do you need anything on this?
Just sign it, just initials, as you looked at it, it's just a. And then here is the water for the month of May. That's just my water adjustments I had to make. And most of them are just like the community building and the churches that we read, just to make sure that there's not any leaks. We have a couple of new customers new to town,
I noticed that on there.
so,
Anything here?
yeah. Just to check some balance. And here's the town. Make the auditors happy.
What's the average?
Haven't got that far yet. That's next.
Well, let's go ahead and ask you.
Just the balance for the water.
And then our daily readings are up a little bit, but I don't know if
Not
it's
bad.
because of, kids are out now and people are filling the pools. I know Kenny brought me some money, topped off the pool. I've been using extra water because I've been cleaning mine, so if
Right.
other people do the same thing I am, then it's gonna be up a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
that's still,
but still, it's not bad.
that's good. Doing a good job, Tom. I don't know how you've done it, but it's wonderful. Our average daily pumping for the month was 19,818 gallons. So we're still, we're maybe 1,000 gallon more than what it was before,
Yeah,
but
last
not,
month it was 18,000 something.
yeah.
Like you said, with
You
the
guys can
weather,
see that,
people
or-
are starting to.
Yeah, and water and flowers and things, yeah.
Actually, I'll leave your hose on a little bit.
I used to leave my soak hoses on and forget them. Don't have those out right now.
Gallons.
Wow.
Chuck? All right?
Yes.
Good? About time?
You got a haircut and everything, man.
I know, I did.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, I looked twice at you.
It fell out.
No, is that what it was?
Yeah. That's what chalk treatments do to you.
What else? You have anything? Tom?
Just a quick update on the consumer confidence report. Kathy had it, got it posted, so went ahead and sent a copy to IDEM, and then the notification that where, that was posted and everything, and did get a email back saying we conform to all the state and federal regulations, so we should be good for the year.
Good job.
For the year.
It's due once a year, due by July 1, so doing good.
Great. Anybody have any questions for the board? Okay, with nothing else, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. We stand adjourned. Thank you.